What I'm about to tell you might hurt, but if you stay until the end, it could save you years of heartbreak, confusion, and regret. Right now, somewhere deep inside, there's a voice whispering something you don't want to admit. That voice is trying to tell you the truth you've been avoiding. He's cheating, and yet, somehow, you still love him. That conflict, loving someone who has betrayed you, is tearing you apart in ways that are subtle, silent, and exhausting. It creeps into your thoughts, your sleep, your daily life. It makes you second-guess yourself, your worth, and even the memories that once felt so real. You may find yourself staring at your phone, wondering if the next message is from him, trying to convince yourself that maybe it's all a misunderstanding. But deep down, you already know. Before we go any further, take a moment to like this video and subscribe, not for me, but for you. Because what you're about to hear is the truth most women never fully understand until it's too late, until the pain has already left its mark. Listen carefully. When a woman discovers the man she loves is being unfaithful, it doesn't just hurt, it shakes the very foundation of her world. Your trust, your sense of security, even your perception of love itself feels like it has been shattered. Part of you feels intense anger, a burning fury that wants to confront him, to demand answers, to make him feel the way you feel. Part of you feels hurt, humiliated, or even a deep shame that somehow, despite everything, you still want him. Yes, you still crave him. You still miss his voice. You still remember the way he looked at you when he thought no one was watching. You still replay the good moments in your mind, the laughter, the closeness, the times he made you feel chosen, special, alive. And that's where most women make the first critical mistake. They believe that love alone should override everything else, that love on its own can fix betrayal, restore trust, and rewrite the pain. Here's a psychological truth most people avoid saying out loud. Emotional attachment does not vanish simply because someone has hurt you. In fact, betrayal can intensify attachment. The human brain becomes obsessed with repairing what's broken. It starts replaying memories, analyzing conversations, and desperately hoping things can return to the way they were. You find yourself remembering the little things, the way he held your hand, the way he smiled when he caught you laughing, the way your hearts seemed to connect in a quiet, effortless way. And because you remember these moments so vividly, your brain refuses to let go. And that is when the danger begins. Instead of stepping back and protecting your own heart, many women lean closer. They beg. They justify his behavior in their own minds. They hope that love alone will erase the betrayal. But here's the quiet truth. When someone sees you clinging to them after breaking your trust, something subtle but profound shifts in the dynamic. Your value in their eyes changes, even if only unconsciously. That is why self-respect is crucial. Loyalty without self-respect is not love, it is dependency. And dependency is the opposite of what creates attraction, respect, and emotional safety. So if you're sitting there thinking, I know he's cheating, but I can't stop loving him, I want you to pause and breathe. You're not weak, you're not broken, you're human. But what you do next will determine whether this experience destroys your confidence or whether it becomes the moment you reclaim your power and your life. Think back to the first time you suspected something was wrong. Maybe it was a vague text message that didn't make sense. Maybe it was a subtle distance in his voice when he spoke to you. Or maybe it was that quiet, persistent feeling in your gut that whispered, something isn't right. Most women ignore that feeling at first. Not because they are foolish, but because the mind is wired to protect itself from pain. It tells you comforting stories. He's just stressed. He didn't mean it like that. I'm probably overthinking. But deep down, your instincts were already trying to warn you. And when the truth finally surfaced, it didn't just feel like betrayal. It felt like your entire reality had been rewritten. Suddenly, the moments you cherished, the laughter, the late-night talks, the intimacy, felt uncertain. Was any of it real?
Or was it just a carefully curated version of him that hid the truth? Here's the truth about cheaters. Infidelity doesn't automatically erase every good feeling you shared. Human beings are complex. He could genuinely feel affection, even love, and still make selfish, destructive choices. That complexity traps your mind because you remember the version of him you loved, the man who made you feel safe, desired, and alive, and cling to the hope that he can return to that version. But here's the danger. Trying harder, forgiving faster, proving your love more intensely, none of that will restore what was lost. Attraction and respect don't work that way. When you try to chase someone who has betrayed you, you unknowingly enter a silent, unconscious competition, trying to prove that you are more patient, more devoted, more forgiving than anyone else. And the cruel irony? The more you try, the less power you feel. Because real strength, confidence, and self-respect are quiet. They don't beg for validation. They are calm, steady, and unwavering. So here's the hardest question you need to ask yourself. Do you love him more than you respect yourself? That question might feel harsh, but it is the line that separates women who stay trapped in painful cycles from those who reclaim their lives. Once trust is broken, the next move matters more than words. And right now, most women make the move that quietly weakens them without even realizing it. You might find yourself replaying memories endlessly, wondering what you could have done differently. If only I had listened more, paid more attention, said the right things. That self-blame is natural, but it's also a trap. His choice to cheat reflects his boundaries, impulses, and character, not your worth. Trying to repair a relationship while your self-respect is wounded leads to confusion, not clarity. Fear takes over. Fear of losing him, fear of being alone, fear that you may never feel that connection again. You start tolerating behaviors you shouldn't. You silence questions you deserve answers to. You bend boundaries that protect your heart. And here's a subtle truth your mind may not realize. That quiet voice inside you asking, "Why am I accepting this?" is not your enemy. It's your awareness trying to protect you. Healthy relationships are built on trust and mutual respect. When those foundations crack, the first step isn't rushing back, it's stepping back, regaining perspective, and repairing your emotional ground. Distance isn't punishment, it's protection. It gives your mind the space to breathe, to process, and to stop reacting purely from pain. And surprisingly, it changes the dynamic. When someone expects you to chase or plead, and instead you calmly create space, you silently assert your value. Strong women don't pretend they aren't hurting. They refuse to let pain dictate their behavior. They pause, they rebuild themselves, they reconnect with what defines them outside of the relationship, their health, purpose, friendships, ambitions, and even their dreams. And once your mind is steady, decisions come from clarity, not desperation. Then comes the hardest question: should I forgive him? Forgiveness is often misunderstood. It's not pretending the betrayal didn't happen. Real forgiveness is deciding whether trust can be rebuilt and whether both people are willing to put in the work it requires. Rebuilding a relationship after cheating requires humility, effort, and honesty from both sides. If only one person is committed, the balance collapses. Respect isn't built through tolerance of pain, it's built through boundaries, honesty, and consistent effort over time. Choosing to walk away doesn't mean you failed. It doesn't mean your love wasn't real. Sometimes the strongest decision is to recognize when trust cannot be rebuilt in a healthy way. Here's what many women overlook. You're not just grieving the betrayal, you're grieving the future you imagined, the trips you wanted to take together, the plans you quietly built in your mind, the life you thought was forming between the two of you. That loss is real, but it's also an opportunity. Pain reveals truths, boundaries you didn't enforce, self-respect you neglected, awareness you're about to gain. The women who rise after betrayal take that pain as information. They learn what they deserve. They strengthen their identity outside of anyone else. Their confidence becomes quiet, steady, and unshakable. They attract relationships built on mutual respect and effort, not fear, control, or desperation. Right now, you're standing at a turning point. You can chase the version of him who already broke your trust, or you can rebuild yourself into someone who will never settle for less than they deserve. That choice will quietly shape every relationship you have from this moment forward. Remember, the real pain of betrayal isn't only what he did, it's realizing how long you may have ignored the signs, how much you bent your boundaries, and how much self-respect you sacrificed to keep someone else. Awareness is power. The strongest women aren't those who never get hurt. They are the ones who refuse to let heartbreak make them bitter, desperate, or submissive. They learn, they grow, they become emotionally aware, grounded, and selective with their loyalty. And when that happens, everything changes. The relationships they attract aren't about fear or control. They are about mutual respect, emotional safety, and real love. So if you're still thinking about him, remember this: your life is bigger than this one chapter. Build your strength, protect your mind, and create your purpose. Clarity will come, and sometimes that clarity reveals something powerful. Not that you lost the right person, but that the experience pushed you to become the person you were always meant to be. If this message helped you see things differently, make sure to like this video and subscribe, because the truths that save a woman's heart often arrive exactly when she needs them most.